Recording. Got it. Ale, hello. Thank you for making the effort to be here. I know how busy you are right now. So for the recording, this is November 30th, 2023, our final meditation of death awareness study. And so we'll just do the practice. Like, it's not the practice, but it's the whole meditation. So we'll start with our opening prayers, go into the preliminaries, take a wiggle break, settle in for the rest of it. Okay, so let's gather our minds here as we usually do. Please bring your attention to your breath until you hear from me again. Now bring to mind that being who for you is a manifestation of ultimate love, ultimate compassion, ultimate wisdom. And see them there with you. They are gazing at you with their unconditional love for you. Smiling at you with their holy great compassion. Their wisdom radiating from them, encompassing you in its light. And then we hear them say, bring to mind someone you know who's hurting in some way. Think about how much you would like to be able to help them. And how the worldly ways we try fall short. How wonderful it will be when we can also help them in some deep and ultimate way, a way through which they will go on to stop their distress forever. We understand a little about how that could be possible. And so we grow that wish into a longing. And that longing into a determination. With that determination, we turn our minds back to that precious holy being. We know that they know what we need to know yet, what we need to learn yet, what we need to do yet to become one who can help this other in this deep and ultimate way. And so we ask them, please teach us that. And they're so happy that we've asked, of course, they agree. Our gratitude arises. We want to offer them something exquisite. And so we think of the perfect world they are teaching us how to create. We imagine we can hold it in our hands and we offer it to them, following it with our promise to practice what they teach us using our refuge prayer. Here is the great earth, filled with fragrant incense and covered with a blanket of flowers. The great mountain, 4 lands, wearing the jewel of the sun and the moon. In my mind, I make them the paradise of a Buddha and offer it all to you. By this deed, may every living being experience the pure world. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kaunirya Tayami. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community. Through the merit that I do in leading this meditation and the rest, may I reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community. Through the merit that I do in leading this meditation and the rest, may we reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community. Through the merit that I do in sharing this meditation and the rest, may all beings reach their total awakening for the benefit of every other. So bring your attention back to your breath. Use that time to settle your body. Brighten your mind. Focus your attention. Now begin your preliminaries. Recall your refuge. No worldly thing, no worldly person can protect us from anything, really. And we use our understanding of emptiness and karma to direct our own behavior. That too can't stop or change things in the moment. But that's the only way we change our future experiences into something that promotes happiness. Your greatest level of understanding that principle, put your reliance in it. And then think of how wonderful it would be if every human knew that truth too. And not only every human, but every existing being. Understanding what we can of karma and emptiness, we understand that a world like that can only come from us. And so grow that wish for your own happiness. Grow it so big. That it will be the source of happiness for every existing being. And then holding that sense, show it to that precious holy angel being before you. And ask them to help you realize this. And of course, they're very happy to do so. And so you mentally honor them. Think of their good qualities, what you admire about them, aspire to become like about them, tell them. Of course, they know it already. They want you to hear you say it to them for your benefit. And then make them an offering. See how happy they are with you. and feel safe enough with them to tell them of some negativity. Tell them why you're confessing that. And establish this meditation as your antidote. So by the time we're done with class, the seeds of that deed will be damaged. And establish a power of restraint. And then fill that space with rejoicing. Tell them of some kindness that you saw happen in your world because you know it came out of your seeds. Tell them of another. And tell them of another goodness you did. Again, see how happy they are with you. Recognize your progress that you're making has come through the power of their teachings. And so ask them to continue to teach you formal ones, informal ones, and especially those exquisite private teachings we get when some jerks pushing our buttons. Know that they are there to help you. And ask them again, please, please stay close. Please bless all my teachers and Dharma friends to live long and happy lives, to stay close, to help me. And then ask them, please help me to learn this practice, this meditation. Help me to gain some insight. And then shift and wiggle if you need at this point. And settle back in. And pretend, not visualize here, but just pretend you're at the cinema and you know the movie is going to be an especially long one. But there you are, in the seat of the movie house. You can stay there through the whole movie. No problem. So settle back in. 3 nice breaths. And the movie starts to play. Find yourself standing outside that big, beautiful yellow gold door, the entry to your building, looking out from over where you have come. You see past the meadow, the close meadow, the bridge, the farther meadow with the table and the crowd and the forest. And recall yourself and your life before you met the Dharma, before you heard the pen thing for the first time. Like being in the forest. Now think of what life would be like if you had just stayed like that. Continuing to struggle in attempts to find some happiness. This is the table and the food and the crowd of people struggling. Everyone's struggling against everyone else. And think of how you've already changed by way of your learning and practice just so far. Notice how you've changed. And be happy with those changes. This was crossing the bridge. Letting go of some of those old habits, those old ideas, those old beliefs that were keeping you the same in the struggle. And consider how learning this death awareness practice has started to shift your ideas around death and dying. And so now you're able to pass through that gauntlet of scary guys. The old fears, the old uncertainty, the old struggle. You're gaining freedom from that. And so feel that sense of eagerness arise for progressing along your path. There at the entry to this building of rooms that represent your path to freedom from all pain. Turn to face the door and think about it. Do I really believe there's a path to freedom beyond all pain? Do I believe I could do it? Do I believe there's someone who can help me do it? And if your answers to any of those three questions are, I think so, then put your hand on the doorknob. Don't feel obligated. You are welcome to stay there at the entry and keep thinking about the forest, the table, the bridge. And just ignore what I say. But if you're inclined, when you put your hand on the doorknob, you see the words show up. My death is certain. And so you push the door open. You're in that darkish room. Just to your right is that snarling beast, the Lord of Death, drooling, snarling to get at you. Does your death feel that close by? Turn to see the hourglass. There's less sand in the top of it now than there was a month ago when we started these classes. My death is certain. The Lord of Death is unstoppable. The moments of my life are passing away. And then you find yourself compelled to run past all those images of teachers and teachings. And there's never enough time. You arrive at the green door. The time of my death is uncertain. Step in. And the first thing we become aware of is here in our world, lifespans are not fixed. There's something that reminds us of that. And then you gaze into this room, and it's full of familiar things, your own things, even food and drink. And we're reminded so much can kill me and so little keeps me alive. And as we move through this room, youch, you catch a sliver deep into your foot. Reminding my body is so fragile. My death is certain. The time of my death is uncertain. And we come to that red door. When I die, nothing but the Dharma helps me. And as we step into this long greenhouse-like room, you're walking into it. On the outside, you see your loved ones seeming to ignore you or to have forgotten about you already. You see your beloved belongings just trashed and unattended. or maybe taken by others. You even see an unrecognizable dead body, but you somehow know it's yours. It was yours. What you thought of as you then, anyway. My people don't go with me. My stuff doesn't go with me. I thought I was a me that would go with me, but even it doesn't. And after all I did for them, I was willing to be unkind to get them what they wanted. But then what does go on? Our karmic imprints. Good, bad, neutral. Those make up the me that goes on. So how does Dharma help me now? I'm already dead. Think of this. While you're standing before that silver door at the end of the greenhouse room, what does Dharma mean to you? And what is it about that Dharma that can be helpful for the future you? That one, the moment after death and forever after that. Let's stay 3 minutes thinking through those questions. What does Dharma mean to you? How does it help you? My death is certain. The time of my death is uncertain. When I die, nothing but the Dharma helps me. You may wish to stay here, contemplating that conclusion. But if you have a sense of the power of that statement, when I die, only the Dharma helps me, only the Dharma goes on with me. Then step into the next room, the turret room, with the sunshine spotlight in the center. On the wall to your left is that walking stick. And as you reach to take it off the wall, you know, because only the Dharma can help me, and because my death is certain, I determined to take up my study and practice of these wisdom. And the staff feels familiar and comfortable and safe and reliable. Then think, because only the Dharma can help me, and because the time of my death is uncertain, I determined to take up this study and practice now, today, not put it off until it seems somehow more convenient. And so take one step towards the sunlight and bang the staff on the floor to make your determination impactful. And next, think, because nothing but the Dharma helps, and because nothing but the Dharma helps me, step into that sunlight and point the staff up to the window through which that sunlight of wisdom is streaming. And think, I will give up my worldly life to instead make living by the Dharma, living by karma and emptiness, living by love, compassion, and wisdom my priority. Feel the warmth of that sunlight of wisdom giving you the strength, the power, and the guidance that you need. And maybe you'd like to just stay right there, absorbing that sunlight. Or maybe you go on to think, if I'm going to prioritize my life according to karma and emptiness, then I want the highest practice. Thank you very much. And turn to see that shimmering peacock blue door. And again, You may wish to just stay here, thinking about that wish for the highest practice, giving yourself time to grow the motivation, to grow the experience with the practice. Or go through with me now. And as you put your hand on the doorknob, you see the letters Dakshin, Nyamje, me, others, exactly the same. And you step into that beautiful dining room. Your friend is there at the opposite side of the table. On your side is the cart of different meals, different drinks, different desserts. And during your casual conversation with your friend, you are paying close attention to them, trying to ascertain what they might like. Listening for clues, watching for clues, paying such close attention to them that you suddenly know, oh, they want the chef salad. They want the glass of water. They want the piece of fruit. And you set it before them and you see how happy they are. They feel so seen, so understood, so cared for. And it feels good to do that for them. Simply paying more attention to them than to our own wishes or needs at that moment. And there's a deeper level. So you can stay there or you can go to the next dining room. And again, a friend is there, same one or different as you wish. And this exchange goes a little deeper, as if a part of you can be aware of how they are perceiving and reacting to you. And this you wants for your impact upon them to be helpful, to be uplifting. And so you are willing to adjust your behavior according to how they are perceiving you. Are they perceiving me as wanting to serve myself, my favorite thing? Are they perceiving me as being impatient with them? Are they perceiving me as jealous of them or condescending or disinterested? We don't usually pay that close attention. You see on that tray of food your own personal favorite dessert. And you become aware that that's the dessert your friend wants. Feel the struggle. Surely they'd enjoy any of the other desserts. Surely I can convince myself that they really want that other dessert. This you that's aware of how you impact them instead takes your favorite dessert and puts it in front of them. See their face light up. This is still Dakshin Nyamje on the level of self and other, but now we are more aware and concerned for the impact that we have. We are more willing to adjust our behavior to have a positive impact instead of an unconcern about our impact. But it's not the highest practice. And so if you feel ready, you can step on into the ice cream parlor. See that small table with the one cake, the one fork, and a friend seated there, representing the practice of expanding self to include other level of Dakshin Nyanje. And so stand there looking at the one cake, the one fork, the them, and the you, and feel the conundrum. How do we both get what we both want? And this light bulb goes off in your mind. Wisdom, the emptiness of the three spheres. And so you lay that piece of red string around the outside of your chair and them and the table. Tie the two ends together and step very deliberately inside that circle. Representing the expanding of your sense of self to include them and the cake. They wonder why you did that. What might be your answer? You might end up teaching them the whole ACI curriculum to answer that question. And then together, you reach up with the ring finger of your left hands and tap on your foreheads at the third eye, representing this determination to overcome mental afflictions everywhere, to overcome all ignorance, the common enemy. And with that, you, this more inclusive you, enjoys a big bite of cake. Both of yous from one fork. Imagine it. Now look up and see that silver door, the Bodhicitta room door. I will reach my total enlightenment so that I can really help all beings reach theirs, their ultimate happiness. What's the connection between this exchanging self and others and the wish? We'll stay for 3 more minutes. What is this connection between expanding our sense of self to include others and the wish? Nice. Now bring your attention back to your breath. Think of that person you wanted to be able to help at the beginning of class. Recognize that the seeds we've planted by doing this practice will someday help them in that deep and ultimate way. And that's a great, great goodness. So please be happy with yourself. You also completed your antidote for your purification. And think of this goodness like a beautiful glowing gemstone that you can hold in your hands. Recall your own precious holy guide. See how happy they are with you. Grow your gratitude to them, your reliance upon them. And then offer them this gemstone of goodness. See them accept it and bless it. And they carry it with them right back into your heart. See them there, feel them there. That love, that compassion, that wisdom. It's there for you, for your guidance, for your support, for your comfort. And it feels so good. We want to keep it forever. And so we know to share it by the power of the goodness that we've just done. May all beings complete the collection of merit and wisdom, and thus gain the two ultimate bodies that merit and wisdom make. So use those 3 long exhales to share this goodness with that one person. To share it with everyone we love. To share it with every being we've ever seen or heard of. See them all filled with happiness, filled with wisdom. They don't know where it came from, and it doesn't matter. And may it be so. But when you're ready, open your eyes, take a stretch, have something to drink, and congratulations. You did very well. That was 50 minutes, 50. No sweat, right? All right. I have nothing more to share. Well, yes, I do, but I have nothing more to say tonight. Okay.
Can we make questions?
You may make questions.
Thank you. Thank you for this amazing course and the meditation. So I've been thinking, definitely the think about death changed my perception after this course. but I am not fear about death, but I'm fear about, for example, Jam dying. How I could pass on this practice, like maybe baby tools.
Yeah, for your interaction with Jam, you mean?
Yeah, like yeah.
So if you, heaven forbid, if you're ever in the situation where Jam's in the situation where he's passing, I would suggest that you call somebody who knows these practices, right? And say, I need your help, because you as mom, it's going to be really, really hard to hold that sense. But if you could, or what that other person would do would be to connect with his, let's just call it mind stream, you call it soul, and would just keep saying, recognize the light as your true nature, go to the light, go forward, reach the, all positive statements directing that mind stream to recognizing that we call it the clear light. It's not a light, it's right, but they all understand. And what you want to say again and again, recognize it as your own true nature. And just a lay person method to connect with them and continually repeat that again and again and again and again is how we can give some direction to that mind stream.
So this practice is personal, basically. Like,
Very.
yeah, we cannot, unless there is like the Dharma, right? Unless the other person has the seeds to have these teachings.
Right.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
I have another angle,
Mhm.
which is you interacting with Jam as he grows up. And, is there a way to not keep death under the rug or not talk about it, but just very casually, talk about how the mind or the awareness or whatever word you'll use as he's growing up, that it goes on, that it goes on, that it goes on, and that it loses access to this old way of being, but it has access to new ways of being. And when the momentum that carries it is kindness, then that new way of being is going to be more and more amazing than this one even was. And when the momentum that carries it is ugly, well, then that's going to be ugly later. And you can talk about that. I mean, that can be your underlying, right, sense, so that he grows up with this, wow, dying is a transition. Which, wouldn't it be wonderful if we all could have grown up with dying as a transition? It would be very different. So again, you enlist Eric in that discussion, right? Because the two of you have to be on the same page. But that's another way to use this practice. So then, say you have a Christian friend, and they've got a month to live, and you desperately want to teach them about karma and emptiness before they die and learn to do this practice, and they don't want any part of it. They want to hear about Jesus. So you just change your vocabulary. Okay? Watch for Jesus. Know that when you get there, your nature and Jesus' nature are one and the same. You just change your words that you use. And then once they pass out, then go to the clear light, use your own because it'll be more meaningful from your side for them. Right? Don't impose our belief system on somebody else, because it won't work for them. I tried it once. I gave that Book of the Dead instruction to a friend of mine whose mom had died, and they are Jewish. And she was reading the Book of the Dead, and she said her mom came to her and she said, "Will you quit reading that stuff? That is not my way." And she said, "Okay," right? And stopped. We thought what we knew was going to be the best, and of course it's not. Okay, yeah, good question. We do change our whole world by changing us. That's that connection about growing self to include others, and the connection to bodhicitta. It's worth really working that out.
Can I make another question?
Okay.
When we are in the restaurant, in the dining, the parlor,
Yeah.
It was parlor, an ice cream shop. The other person is ourselves. It could be
No.
ourselves.
No,
It
not
needs
it
to
doesn't
be
start
another.
out himself. It starts out somebody else.
Always.
And so there's them and you're outside the circle. You make the circle when you step in. Yeah, your bodies are separate, but by stepping in, you intentionally say, what I consider me is now this big. So what's relevant to me, what pain is relevant, what pleasure is relevant to me now includes these hands and those hands. It's like we have 4, right? So we start out separate, we step in, they don't become me. And this doesn't get bigger. It's this me mind stream that gets bigger. Different identity.
And because we are, that parlor is passing the blue door, correct?
It's inside the blue door, yes.
It's inside the blue door. The me that is outside the red circle is my enlightened being,
No.
or is my present being?
It's your present you, your present still ignorant you.
Dead, kind of formless.
No, in this whole death meditation, you have not died yet. When you're going through the greenhouse room and you see your dead body, that's not happening. That's your understanding that when it happens, it's going to be like this. Okay, I'm sorry I never realized that would have been not understood the way I intended. So you're still you living you in the turret room, making your determination. And then you living ordinary me on my spiritual path, wanting the highest practice. Okay, yeah, good. We don't reach enlightened self until we get to the courtyard.
Actually, I just a question came to mind which didn't come in during meditation, which is in the first 2 dining situations, it was like my mind stream and their mind stream, and then in the last dining situation, once I went into the circle, it was sort of like just my mind stream then? Like what happens to the other mind stream?
Right. But see, we're still thinking mine versus theirs. So when we step in and become bigger, then there's this mind stream and that mind stream, but it's all included in this. We need a different word. This being, this existence, this existing. We don't ever merge mind streams. We know that, right? So even when we say I'm expanding self to include others, now I've got two mind streams to deal with. It's seeds for omniscience. Do you see?
Like emanations.
And emanations. Right? Right. What we mean by me needs to change big time. And I think it's a clue that in the Buddha sutras, the Buddha almost always refers to themselves as Wongon Thus, or destroyer of the foe, or Buddha, when he's talking about Buddha, almost never says me. And they point out, I think in Diamond Cutter Sutra, that he does say me when he says my begging bowl. But that's about the only time that you'll catch Buddha saying me. And I'm not sure Buddha really said that, rather than the one who once I heard this teaching, right, said it. Buddha doesn't perceive themselves as a me versus you, which is why we use the word me. It's something to think about. What else?
I had this I never had this experience in this meditation before, but something happened like to my this, and if it was happening to me in real life, it would have freaked me out. It felt like some kind of like mechanical door opened and like this huge ginormous spider came out of my forehead.
All right.
And it like I literally, if I didn't know that I didn't have you here with me, I would have like probably like and like freaked out or something. But like I felt like a presence and a support, so I stayed with it.
Mhm.
And then some crazy like stuff started happening, and then my staff transformed and some things happened, and it was like I could see all these planets and I was like in a whole other dimension. But then I had this feeling where it felt like maggots were all over my body, and that's where I didn't know if I was dying or if I was alive, but it was like they were fluorescent and I felt like it was like light. And then I had some kind of like, I don't know, magical stuff that I was throwing all over planets. And it was kind of freaking me out because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know where I was. I kind of lost sense of everything. And I no longer had a staff. I was using my forehead. So what do I do with that? Like what? I don't even know what the flip was going on.
Yeah. When like I'm not prone to that kind of amazing stuff. But all of it, we always fall back into seeds ripening, purify, make merit. So when we can hold our lucidity about it, meaning you do have an awareness that all of this is going on, then as you're starting to like freak out about it, try hard for that awareness to say, whoa, crap ripening, get it out, and replace it with bodhicitta, right? Think bodhicitta and all that that means. And all that stuff is just goo, right? Goo coming out. Technically, even when it seems really, really cool and blissful and amazing, it can be like sucking us in the wrong direction. And so again, just, burning off bodhicitta. And it'll bring you back to the center. Yeah.
Thank you. And I had this really weird, crazy dream the other night. And in the dream, there was all these monks, and one of them died in the dream. And then all of a sudden, it was like I've been having a lot of crazy dreams, and you showed up in the dream, but you were an owl and your eyes were there. And it was like you were piercing through in the dream. And when I saw your eyes, I was like, that's Sarani. So I don't know what that meant.
Yeah. You
came as an owl in my dream.
Yay. Bless you. Right. Again, dreams are similar. It's like it's all ripenings. And bodhicitta is always the fallback.
I have chills. It felt very safe having you show up. Your eyes, it was just like, thank you. I don't know.
Woo.
Woo, woo.
Thanks. May it be so. Yeah. Anything else for anyone else?
So, thank you for your time. This meditation, this needs to be done only when we are practicing the death practice, correct? This whole meditation is just when we are practicing the death meditation, or is it could be the continuation of the Lamrim
Right. So
meditation.
the place that it comes is very early on in our Lamrim. And because the usual conclusion of a death realization is, oh my gosh, what could happen next? Lower realms. Oh my gosh, I need refuge. Oh my gosh, right? Refuge helps me by way of karma, etc. So this comes really, really early in our Lamrim. But when we're taught the Lamrim from the Mahayana perspective, it skips grades, right? Because we go right to the highest practices, which means, we skipped a whole lot of Lamrim. So once you have a sense that you've, internalized that my death is certain, I don't know when, and only the Dharma will help me. There's not much need to go through this meditation again and again and again. It's great to revisit it from time to time, because your insights about it will go deeper. But in terms of using it every single day, if you have been over the month and, you're going into Kyoto teachings and will be distracted, I don't begin to think that it'd be useful to force yourself to do this before you're working with that. But, make some notes to yourself about what your ahas have been from this month of working with your death awareness. And there'll come a time when, I don't know, you'll get to teach it to somebody, or somebody else will be teaching it another time, and I invite you to revisit it from time to time. But you don't need to keep doing it. Unless you find a little part, like at any of those parts where I said, if you're not ready to go on, don't go on. Well, you might want to use that. Like, give yourself a weekend and you just spend that whole weekend working on that one little piece to see if you can push through. You have it as a tool that you can use in any way that helps to keep you inspired.
Lama, but then if someone hasn't internalized, like it didn't have how to say a clear impact, then it's recommended to do this until you internalize.
If
That the
you,
Dharma is the only thing that is going to save you, and that the death is uncertain, and that the death is certain.
you know, I would hesitate to say, because you've taken this class, you should keep with it until you've internalized it. But if it feels like you are grasping to something and you are getting there and you just haven't finished it, then yes, keep with it. But if you feel like, you know, just another part of the superstition, then put it on the shelf for later.
Okay.
I just want to share something personal. Because of this meditation, today Jam is very sick. And usually when he is sick and I have a lot of work to do, I just freak out and have a lot of stress, and I try to divide myself. And today I just thought, if it's my last day of his last day, how I want to spend it. And I did work, but the mindset, and I think my heart and his heart were aligned, and we spent a beautiful day dancing and playing together.
Nice.
Now I have a lot of work to do, but
Right. It was worth it.
I just
Yeah,
want to rejoice that we have at least I could hold 6 hours of this way of thinking, that if is my last day of his last day, how I want to
Yeah.
spend it. And
Yay, good.
thank you for
Good.
teaching it, and
Yay.
yeah, thank you.
Yay. Good. Nice. All right, my dears.
Maybe before we say goodbye, just Lama, we in the name of the group, we want to thank you for your teachings and always thinking what will help us to improve. We have a small offering for you that I'm going to transfer now from everybody here. So thanks a lot. Please stay.
Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate it. I love you so much. Happy holidays. I will see you in January, if not before, right, for other stuff, but ACI 3 in January. Okay. All right. I love you. Bye-bye.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
You need to teach, please stay.
Thank you. Yes. Bye-bye.